So specifically to diagnose ARDS, this supersized acute respiratory failure, to diagnose and say, hey, this patient needs to go to the ICU, these are the main criteria to really diagnose, is my patient in acute respiratory distress syndrome? Our patient is not going to be able to breathe correctly. Let's say your patient is post-op and their saturations have been consistently less than 90% SaO2, like little pulse ox, right? So the doctor says, hey, let's draw a ABG, an arterial blood gas. So we see that our PaO2, how much oxygen is going back to that pulmonary artery. 60, anything less than 60 is a criteria check, because PaO2 should be between at least 80 to 100. So anything 60 is horrible. So that's a check. Your pH is less than 7.30. Now that just means that we have very, very acidy blood. And I did an entire 4 lectures on ABGs on my YouTube channel. So go check it out. It's amazing in terms of really making sense of ABGs. But this is just the basics here. So if you guys can remember that all these 3 are down in the dumps. You have less than 90% SaO2, less than 60% PaO2, less than 7.3 on your pH, very acidy, okay? All this really means is that our lungs are filled with carbon dioxide. We're breathing less. Right? So think about when someone sleeps, how they breathe. Acid, right? Acid. Because they're breathing less. They're not blowing off that CO2. So this carbon dioxide, is going to be increased greater than 50. So not only are you not going to be getting oxygen, you're not going to be blowing off your CO2, your pH levels are going to be very acidic, and obviously your oxygen levels are going to go down. So if you think about it, all these guys are down, your pH level is acidic, your CO2 level is acidic, and your oxygen indicators are not going to be up. So you're holding on to all that carbon dioxide because your alveoli now are not perfusing correctly. So let's go through the stages now of acute respiratory distress syndrome, okay?